morning, friends. I am diving right into illustration work this morning because I have a lot to do and not a ton of time to do it before I have a hair appointment and some other errands to do today. Priority number one is to finalize my illustration for Bring On Spring that starts tomorrow, which is a challenge I host on Instagram with my friends Pandora and Neela. Check it out if you are a crafty person and want to take part. So it runs throughout April, and the first prompt of the challenge this year is mouse and crocus. And so I have almost finished that illustration. I think it's at that stage where it's done and I just have to decide if I'm going to make any little changes to it. So here's where it's at right now. It's one of those illustrations that I was happier with the sketch than I was with the final piece. Sometimes a sketch just comes to life in a way where you're like really happy with the progression it took, but for this one, some of the magic was somehow lost between the sketch and the final, and I've always so fascinated by that. Like, why does that happen? Because the final has more going on than the sketch, and so for me what that often means is that it has something to do with the colors. So I've had to play around with the colors of the mouse quite a lot. He started out quite a bit darker, quite a lot less saturated, but then I realized he's my focal point, and so I needed to boost the saturation quite a bit and get him looking, drawing your eye to him more. I was finding that the flowers, the crocuses, were drawing the attention more, and that was part of what was throwing it off. I still don't want him to be like the obvious focal point though, which is why he's so tiny compared to the other flowers. I'm a little stuck at this point for what else I could do to kind of bring it up to what I'm envisioning in my head, but I'm happy to post this as is. It has like the sweet whimsical vibes that I was going for when I sketched it out. I'd like to be a little bit ahead of the game for the upcoming prompts because you never know if life's gonna get busy or what's gonna get in the way, so I try and be a prompt or two ahead of schedule when we're running Bring On Spring. So the next prompt after that for the 4th to the 6th of April is Sunshine and Songbird. And I was really excited about this one because I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of lean more into my music background and like put the song element of Songbird in a very with a little bit of music theory stuff thrown into the illustration, which I've never done before, which is so strange. Like, for some reason I've always kind of felt like I needed to keep those two parts of my life separate. But I think it's really important to lean into what makes you unique, and that being such an important part of me and who I am and what I do, I think is important for me to embrace. It seems silly why I kind of felt like I shouldn't be both of those things at the same time. A musician and an artist, but this is my sketch so far for Sunshine and Songbird. It's really hard to hold this in a way that works well and doesn't glare too much. Brightness all the way down. It's really glaring against the window, but what I thought for these is that I want them to be I'm generally going for 4x6 because I'm thinking that what I'll do is turn them into postcards after, because last year, my voice is on the fritz today. I don't know, I think it's just early morning dry throat, because I feel totally fine otherwise. Last year, a bunch of the designs that I did for Bring On Spring ended up being on postcards that I put into my shop, so I think I want to do that again this year, because postcards are so fun, but it's kind of hard to come up with things that are good to put on them. But the Bring On Spring illustrations, for me at least, the way that I end up executing them are the perfect thing for a postcard. And postcards are such a nice thing to put in your shop because it's a nice way to buy a mini print if you can't afford the price of a full print, but you still want a little piece of someone's art on your wall. I have a ton of postcards on my gallery wall. So next steps are for that illustration, I'm gonna do some color thumbnailing, laying out some options for how I want the colors to be. I am working with this limited color palette that I've set for Bring On Spring. Still want to swatch out what each little section is gonna be and see what that's gonna look like. bye.